What's good, everybody? It is Gurky, and we are going to be playing some Magic the Gathering today. The deck I am going to be playing is called Rakdos No Hand, and let me get into what this deck actually wants to do. It's pretty simple. We're going to use cards like Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize, and we are going to attempt to strip away all of the early game pieces or just all of the combo pieces from a player's hand. And then we're going to follow it up with Feed the Swarm or Sheoldred's Edict, some removal effects here, just to make sure that they definitely don't have a way to win the game from this point. And then later on in the game, we are going to slam down a Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, for the finale, or we're going to try and get down a Sheoldred and just grind the opponent out this way. We have a lot of interaction pieces with this deck. We want to eliminate creature-based decks mostly with this, but we do have ways of dealing with planeswalkers as well as artifacts. Even enchantments when it comes down to Feed the Swarm. So this deck really wants to hit everything. I am already feeling this intense amount of pressure because I just keep getting rolled over and over with this deck. It doesn't have a lot of draw power outside of the Seasoned Pyromancers, but that doesn't stop me from just not being able to get over the finish line. So let's get into some games on the historic ladder and let's see if we can beat down our opponents with some big fat boys or big booty girls. You're into that sort of thing. All right, let's try to guess who the opponent is just based off of their avatar here. It is the default avatar. Okay, so definitely gonna have some fun times with this. Okay, so we have the Phyrexian Arena for draw. This is our only piece of draw in this deck. I would like to have two, but I just didn't have the rares needed to craft this deck. So I can get the last piece that I need for the Seasoned Pyromancer, but I'm gonna mulligan this hand because that is the hand that we are looking for. Yes. Now, Sheoldred is our win condition, so I kind of want to keep this, but it is way too late in the game, and we will draw more lands, right? We'll always draw more lands. Okay, they have an enchantment. It's very difficult for us to remove this. We only have 3 pieces of removal for that, so we're just going to have to deal with these early game threats. All right, so they gain life off of this. That's our ultimate win condition. Isn't just to strip their hand away. Our ultimate win condition is to beat them down after stripping all of the important pieces away from them. So what we're gonna do here is we're probably gonna do a double Thoughtseize. I want to know what this last card is. This is a combo piece for sure. They can play this next turn. That's going to be all of their mana. I think what I would like to do is I would like to strip away something like this. And we're just going to follow it up with another Thoughtseize anyways. So I don't know why we were taking so long. That's a little bit of BM for myself here, but it takes a while to think through all of the thoughts here. Sheoldred's Edict is an instant, so we can do this at any time. All right. Thankfully, we did not get a Sheoldred off the top. That would suck. Okay. And it might be weird to just like keep checking my hand, even though Inquisition of Kozilek is useful in the game, in this matchup. I didn't think about this. He could make a token. Yes. I should have taken that with the Thoughtseize, but we live and learn. But the point of the Inquisition of Kozilek, or Kozilek's, yeah, Inquisition of Kozilek, the point is to be able to cast our Kroxa as soon as we possibly can. So even though I'm like attacking their hand and there's nothing there, it's important to get cards into the graveyard for that particular reason. We are looking like we are in a very difficult spot here. This might be game if I can't remove this. Luckily it is a token. Okay, we did get the piece of removal we're looking for. I'm tempted to keep the swamp in hand for that exact reason that I was saying. Of, hey, we need to have cards in the graveyard, and Liliana, we can just discard them to the graveyard. But it is good to have more lands on the field in case we get that Seasoned Pyromancer off the top. It will be nice to have that. Now, I will discard this mountain. We have plenty of lands here.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
We are tipping our hand a little bit, saying, hey, we do have garbage in our hands sometimes. It's not all the time. Okay, not sure what he's doing exactly, but we'll let him think through his decisions here. Honestly, yeah, we're gonna get rid of both these creatures no matter what. It's important in the white-green matchup to remove all the creatures they possibly could reanimate from their graveyard, even though typically they aren't. They're reanimating the like 1 CMC creatures most of the time. This is a older build of this combo, but it is definitely a good build. The opponent did choose well here, because the Ajani's Welcome usually is like a 1-drop creature that will gain them some life.
Off you go.
Actually, I can double up on this. They're gonna have to get removal off the top. My opponents always get removal off the top. They always do, am I right? Now we can double this up. And most of the time you don't have to worry about the cards you're exiling. You just exile the first 5 cards you see. Doesn't typically matter. So just be quick about it. We don't want to BM our opponents. Ooh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Now they can reanimate a creature from the graveyard. This is not good for us. There's the Seasoned Pyromancer. We are going to hold it in hand, though, because we do need to exile this before they are able to level up. We don't want them to level up into something good for themselves. They're at 2 life. They have to produce 2 blockers, which means they would have to have 7 mana here. They only have 6. They have the Ajani here. This is not good. Okay, if he attacks here, this is GG. Actually, this is GG either way. If he attacks, he's for sure dead. He attacks. Okay. This is the point where we would go GG's and then we would attack into them, but I'm not going to BM my opponent. We still pick up some interaction here, but this is good enough because we have a 3/3 with Menace. Actually, this is not good enough. We are very, actually, no, we do kill him because he has no cards in hand. Okay, cool. I forgot about that. Kroxa trigger, loses 3 life. He is dead. Okay, we did get him in range. That was a good game, opponent. Good game. Yep, you need to, oh, I can't believe you did that. Oh my gosh, big brain move over here. Oh, I did not see that coming. That is super smart from our opponent. Okay, okay. Oh, I was getting cocky. I forgot he can give it lifelink. Okay. Well played, sir. Well played.
True friends always stand by your side.
Yup, that is GG's. That is GG's. Now he's got a blocker and he's got enough mana here to get in for lethal. Oh, that was so close. See, that's why you don't celebrate too early. There's something we forgot here. Now, I think that was the only way that I could do that. No, I could have removed his blocker. I could have removed it because it was a token. Okay, so that was, we got removal and we should have played the removal. Don't be like me. Don't make silly mistakes like that. My gosh. I'm over here. I'm like, this is how you play the deck. And then, and then I I just misplayed, but that happens. That happens regardless. Okay, we move on to the next game. It's not a big deal. Okay, so the reason why I'm keeping this hand is we do have the turn 1 Thoughtseize, and we do have some interaction following up here. Sheoldred, the Apocalypse is great, but I usually chuck this back just so that I can deal with these early game threats, and then I have the Liliana for backup. Just to like remove creatures from the board. This is the biggest problem for us because it keeps making creatures like over and over and over again. He's gonna Priest of Titania. Okay, interesting choice, interesting choice. So we are going to try and remove as many of these creatures from the board as possible. However, green is very sticky when it comes to these decks. Usually they just keep pumping out creature after creature after creature after creature. There's the Anthem effect, and we don't have a lot of single target removal in this deck. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and use, I think this is just game, because the Priest of Titania is going to be enough to get Crater Hoof Behemoth probably at some point here. However, I am forcing them to attack in here. Yeah, this is probably game. We didn't see this in their hand, but they're just going to keep grabbing elf after elf after elf. So this is probably game. And this is how most of the matchups go. It is frustrating. Most of the matchups, we are facing off against some pretty gross elf slash creature-based decks. So this isn't... It feels bad, but it isn't abnormal for this to happen. We did get the Planeswalker removal. I am happy about this, but this probably isn't going to be enough to get us across the finish line. Because like I said, they're probably not going to discard this Finale of Devastation. They're just going to cast it next turn. Oh, okay, interesting. So they did get rid of it, so that means that whatever this card is better. It's Collected Company. That makes sense. Yep, and that's game. I really can't remove a lot of creatures when we get to that point, so most of the time we are just conceding that game. There are board-based, just remove all of these creatures that are like 2 CMC or less. Let me grab that real quick here. Let's see if I can grab that card. Ritual of Soot is a good card to put in this placement if you're feeling like you're running into too many matchups where it's just like, hey, I'm just getting rolled by a bunch of like 3 CMC or less creatures. Ritual of Soot is a good card to place into your decks. I probably only do like a 2 of. If you're doing best of ones, only put 2 of these into your decks. If you're doing best of 3s, you could always just slot in more if your sideboard allows for this. But I choose to do best of ones because I just get through more games quicker, and it requires less cards for you to own or to have in your collection. Just because you can be like, hey, these are the cards that I'm going to have in my main board, and I'm not going to add anything to the sideboard. You also don't have the problem of having to play out 3 games. Some people don't have a lot of time for it. That's why I choose to do best of ones, and I just tweak my decks as needed for the meta. All right. I'm guessing this is going to be red-blue just based off of his avatar. This is the hand we're looking for. We are missing the swamp. My opponent is going first, so we'll see if we pick up a swamp for the first card here. We don't want to draw too many lands in a row here. Okay, so they are playing red. We do pick up the swamp. The RNG gods are in our favor today. There is a lot of damage in this opponent's hand. Holy cow. I think the Wizard's Lightning supports the most. They are just going to vomit out their hand, but we can deal with that 3 damage. Think of it this way. The Thoughtseize is representing 2 damage versus the Wizard's Lightning is representing actually 4 damage plus because each of these has prowess. So really, we want to remove that as soon as possible. Okay, so we only have, our opponent only has 1 card remaining in hand. So I'm guessing this is a mountain. Okay, it is a mountain. So we will strip that from their hand. What I'm going to do here is I'm just gonna pass to them. I'm really gonna think critically about this march. I want to remove one of their creatures here. but I don't know which one. And also I need to wait until they try to cast something. It is possible that this is a spell in their hand. So what we'll do is we'll go to our turn, and I would like to get the Liliana down, start removing some things. But also we got the Thoughtseize, and then we got the March. This is probably a land. They're probably baiting me. And also this March could hit the den of the Bugbear. So we're going to actually do this line. This line actually makes more sense. See, as I'm talking through these plays, like I am trying to rationalize certain things. I don't want to just like throw myself into the next action. You know, everybody does this. I do this at certain points. It's just you want to click off, click. Just play as many games as possible. But really, we're going for wins. Like, let's be honest. Like, everybody wants to win Magic the Gathering.
This isn't
But we have to be critical about our decisions. Okay. Seems like our opponent wants to do something here. I think that they are still holding a land here. We are just gonna slam down the Sheoldred. Yeah, because we can tell by the timing. Actually, this is some real meta shit. But we can tell by the timing of how they are, like they're looking at their hand or how long it takes for the spell to land. Because most people are playing on the standard settings. So if they are, they're full sending it. Okay. Let me get through this combat decision here before I finish up. So I'm gonna block here. If they try to pump this, which I don't believe they have a pump effect, it's okay because we're gonna trade a spell plus one of their dudes for this. So that is a spell in their hand. I don't think it's enough to kill me though. Yeah, it's not enough to kill the Sheoldred. But what I was saying is how long it takes them to throw a card down, or like I like cast a card, and then we can tell if they have a response by how long it takes for the timer to like just tick down. This is some meta level stuff. Let's see. If they get a land, then we can't really deal with the Bugbear at all. So I think we are just going to allow. We're going to allow it to go like this. Now, if they do have a response, I think we just wait for March the Machines. Okay. So they are going to do Den of the Bugbear here. Before we go to combat, I am going to, oopsies. We're going to make sure that we get the most amount of life out of this. 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. So we got 3 here plus the 4 here. We're going to exile these 2 things. Now, normally I would do the Thoughtseize. Actually, thinking about it, I should have done the Thoughtseize. That might have been better. And our opponent concedes. All right. But just going back really quickly to why I blocked here. This gives -1/-1 counters. That makes the most sense for blocking because these do not have that effect on them. So really, like, you could kill my Sheoldred, or it makes it unfavorable to trade into the other ones later on down the line. So we want to deal with this guy. Plain and simple. That's the biggest threat. So hopefully these games are really insightful to you. Hopefully you enjoy my antics. If you do, like the video, subscribe if you want to. I'm going to be doing a lot of historic 1v1s. If you have a deck that you would like me to try out, send it my way. I'll try out any deck lists. Provided the deck lists are not super expensive. I don't have a ton of money, but I will play as much as I can. Okay, we've got a lot of creature removal here. It's going to take a little bit to get these online, but if we're playing against elves, this is a good hand to just go bang, bang, boom, bish, bash, bosh, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But if it's not, it's a feels bad. If it's combo, we have no way to interact. So I'm just gonna send that back. This one's really bad. I don't like conceding games before they have a chance to start, but this looks like a very dire situation here. So I think we'll send these two back. This is a really rough hand to start with. If it is creatures, okay, so it's not creatures, it is probably a Karn-based deck. It's probably, it's probably all colorless, if I can get that thought out. Okay. Either of these is coming in play tapped, so we might as well get the Kroxa down. Kroxa is like one of my all-time favorite cards. I've actually thought about making commander decks around Kroxa. I did just realize this is a multicolored spell, so they could use the new Eldrazi spell to counteract this. We will see. So it is Eldrazi. I think I'm gonna discard the land here, even though I don't want to. I would like to discard this, but if they play a creature here, I don't want to minus Liliana. I want to just be able to continuously play cards from my hand. Yep, there's an Eldrazi. So now we can use the spell in our hand. Unfortunately, this does not help out a ton. It's either we die to like a huge Eldrazi, or I honestly don't know what could be around the corner here. I am gonna discard this March. This is why I'm having like difficulties, because like I might have to minus Liliana at some point in the near future. I have no card in hand for them to really worry about. Okay, so this does stop the Kroxa. Ooh, okay. This is rough going. This is rough going. I did just use this. The Rampage would have been nice for that. Okay, so this just gets countered. So we might as well just pitch it. Make them pitch one, I pitch one. Okay. This is looking dire. If they just keep hitting land drops, it's kind of all right. Okay, so, oh no! Oh no, buddy! What's this card? Okay, that is a problem. That is a problem I don't have to deal with. Okay. We're gonna minus, so now we can alt Lily, and we can really make a tough decision here. Okay. We're gonna strip that. That makes sense. Okay. This is all right. So we'll be able to minus Liliana. We're in a very good spot here. We are in a very good spot. I want to get a red source here, so that if we do top deck anything useful. Okay. So now we can minus Liliana. This doesn't typically happen in games. So now we need to separate them into two piles. I definitely want Chalice in two. And then I want to put this in two, and maybe just put a colorless source in two. So now they have to choose between 3 lands or 2 lands and the Chalice. You really want to split their resources down the middle. Okay, so that tells us that the Chalice is the most important thing to them rather than mana sources. That will get countered. I think they're kind of regretting putting it on, putting their Chalice on 2. It does stop my Kroxa. Oh, actually it does stop my removal as well. So Liliana is the only way for me to get out of this.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Not Liliana, sorry, my Sheoldred. My Sheoldred is the only way for me to get out of this situation. Doing some deck thinning here. This is good. They didn't have a response in their hand, so we just throw away this card for free. Yep.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Yep. And it's difficult because we would think that the escape cost would be able to get around Chalice of the Void. I don't believe it does, because this says charge counters whenever a player casts a spell with mana value, and the mana value of Kroxa is 2. So we do know that the Chalice is really important to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to force all of the lands off the board. Once we hit 6, I think we're gonna just let Liliana rip here. Ooh. Okay, so if they get a... okay. This is an interesting predicament here. I actually can't throw this away, because if they get a land off the top here, then we're vulnerable to having Liliana be removed. So I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to deal with whatever it is. I think this is to the detriment of me. I could have just upticked and then prayed. All right. So we will cast this, because this will allow some protection from mobilize to district. Okay. We are going to uptick, and we're going to throw away a swamp. So now Liliana is in range, and you can't escape my 8 trigram Steel Palm. I just realized this Sheoldred's Edict doesn't really do much. That's all right. We give them a tough decision. We're going to target them.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted. Don't bother begging. I'm fresh out of mercy.
Okay. We're going to do these 3 and then these in pile 1, possibly. Like, is the... actually, we'll put this... Yes. It's like, do you want the Chalice, or do you... and the Eldrazi discount, or do you want lands? Splitting their resources down the middle again. Wow, the cojones on this guy. Okay. All right. And it's important to do it in that sequence too. Like, if you ever have the opportunity to ultimately it's important to do it in that order too. We want to make sure that Liliana has a clean slate, getting rid of their land, so that we can play Sheoldred the Apocalypse. That is what the sequence that you want to do. You don't want to just slam Sheoldred the Apocalypse down, because if you do, and they have some sort of removal, then you're boned. You're totally screwed. But we put them in that position, and we won the game. Nice. All right. Who do we got? Ah, okay. So this is probably some Dimir deck, or he mostly plays Dimir. Okay. Again, we have this tough decision. We have some interaction here at the beginning, but we don't have the right mana source. My opponent is going first, so I'm gonna keep this hand, and I'm gonna pray to the RNG gods that we get some interaction. We better get it soon. Okay, we always get the swamp off the top, right? Am I right? Okay, let's make sure that they don't have a follow-up play. All right, this is difficult. This is very difficult, because either way, they're going to have some sort of secondary card to put down with Sheoldred of the Apocalypse. Okay. They probably will not sacrifice this Land of War Elves. Yep, that makes sense, because now if they have a land, they can just Coco. And yep, here we go. They're gonna play Collected Company off of this, right? No? Okay. In that case, what do I want to do here? We'll do this, and then we'll see if they play Collected Company. They do play Collected Company, just based off of that. I'm gonna get rid of this Land of War Elves, because there can be some funny stuff that happens. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. They can make a token, and of course they have a land in hand. I think they misinterpreted what the Inquisition of Kozilek actually does. So, okay, this is really bad for us. This is probably GG's, just straight up. Like I said, sweepers, really good in this scenario. Let's get a Sheoldred the Apocalypse down. This probably isn't going to matter much. They're probably going to just play another elf here. That's going to be really difficult for us. They can also just play elves off the top. So this is probably GG's. Yep, I'm going to get drained for a crap ton of damage here. They get another elf just in time. It is possible that they just keep sending 1/1s at us. Or they could just full send it here. I can see them full sending to justify. Okay, well, they did not full send. This is good for us. They are just going to sacrifice a 1/1 token here.
Enough with
But we want to keep forcing as much as we can onto them. And unfortunately, this is going to be most of your ladder climbs, is just playing against these elf decks that have, like, every time they just cast an elf, they're going to get a 1/1 token, and you're just going to get rolled. So sometimes having those sweepers in your deck, there's the Crater Hoof Behemoth, of course they get it off the top. I'm not even going to let them finish that game up. But most of your interactions with elf decks, if you don't have a sweeper in your arsenal, that's how it's going to end up. But for the most part, you can, if you have a deck, or if you have a hand with a ton of interaction on creatures, then you can surpass them. So sometimes it is good to just mulligan for constant removal. This hand is good for just like making them discard a ton. We'll deal with whatever that hits the field. They're playing goblins, okay. So we're probably going to hit this with a little bit of removal. Okay. Conspicuous Snoop is a little spooky, but the Skirk Prospector, funny enough, is the most important piece on the board. So we are going to remove this. If they decide to sacrifice it, that's kind of okay. Oh my gosh, of course they have Conspicuous Snoop on the top of their library. This is not good. So now the Conspicuous Snoop is a Skirk Prospector, and we know that the Skirk Prospector is coming down later. So this is a big feels bad moment for us as the hero. I guess you could kind of call us the villain, but in my eyes, we are not the villain. We are the hero here. We are trying to go up against some dirty gobos. Now, it's just another nail in the coffin, it feels like. Got another Kroxa. This is really sad. This is really sad. We can do a double Kroxa here. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is going to be game for us too. We're gonna make them discard cards in their hand, but it doesn't really matter because they have more damage on the top of their library anyways. So even though we are doing our best to remove the shenanigans, we cannot really save ourselves if they play land into Goblin Chieftain here. Yep. Goblins are reduced. Sheoldred is, I think, a little too late. Yep, little too late. So that was one of those points where it's like we kept a hand that interacted with their hand, but we needed the stuff to interact with the board instead. So it's you're playing this razor thin line most of the time where it's like, okay, we hope that there's no combo pieces in hand, or we hope that we're interacting with creatures on the board. Like one of those two schools of thought has to go into it, and most of the time I think you're gonna want to interact with their board rather than their hand. Again, this is an unfortunate situation where we just don't have the swamp in hand. Sometimes you get the swamp off the top, sometimes you don't. I am gonna go with I don't have the swamp on the top. better to just go with what you have in your hand currently. Another donk gets rewarded though, and we get the Inquisition off the top. Okay. So this is going to buff some other things. They really can't interact on a turn. We'll get rid of the turn 3 play, I think. Yeah, let's get rid of the turn 3 play. Because we know this creature's coming down and we can interact with it. We have the interaction right here, right now. We'll make him sacrifice a creature. This is good stuff. They don't have a target then for this Fae. And if they just play it into this board for some reason, it's a very interesting play. We know that that is a board wipe. All right. We are in a very good position here. We might want to just force them to have the interaction here. But also having Liliana down is good too. So we're going to do this.
A fight?
Discard cards. We'll discard a land here.
We all have things we
As much as we want to get to 4 lands, it's just good to have cards that can actually do something in our hands. Not that lands don't do something, but we can always pick up more lands off of the Seasoned Pyromancer, and we have the land mana in order to cast it. So that's my justification on that one. Ooh, okay. So we'll make them sacrifice this. Really what we're trying to do is we're trying to make this card worse in their hand by just continuing to develop our board in a way that this card, which is a board wipe, just doesn't do much. So they have to play a card here that's important to them. Okay, so this would kill our Liliana. We don't get any interaction off the top here. So we now have to make the decision. Do we want to sacrifice Liliana? I think it's important to just take as much off their board as possible. I've run into this too many times where I don't take enough off their board, and it just feels bad because they run me over with that 2/2 and it just keeps gaining life. Okay, so now they have the decision. Do they want to cast this spell in hand? Is this more powerful? Looks like that they think that is more powerful. This is an enchantment. Okay. Do this. We got a mountain in hand. We'll just grab a swamp here. We could set this up for next turn, but we could just punch in the face. I think we need to threaten, hey, like these things on board, these are actual threats here. I think I want to present that. I think these are the bigger problems. We'll do that. I do want to remove this enchantment. We do have removal in our deck for it. This is not good. They're gonna get rid of the Seasoned Pyromancer. Maybe we have double removal here. We do not. We just keep getting blockers. Okay. As much as I would like to offer this up for a trade, I think getting the Kroxa down and then escaping the Kroxa is the most deadly play we can make here. It also casts 2. 5. There we go. Got it down. We have a very, very big threat on the board here. These do have Toxic. I'm not sure exactly what the play is here. They could cast the board wipe. However, Seasoned Pyromancer is going to come down regardless. And I think that's kind of the point, right? They're going to follow this up. Seasoned Pyromancer comes out. I'm going to discard. There's another Kroxa for you, buddy. And we did get the Feed the Swarm. This is good. This is good. We have plenty of cards left in our deck. Not that that's a huge issue, but it can be a huge issue. So I'm going to force their hand here if I can. Any day now. You could cast a board wipe, but that would be really bad, seeing as you had the Leonin Vanguard that you just played. I'm not sure exactly what that maneuver was. They do want to get blockers down, but it just doesn't seem like they're going to be able to make it here. So I don't know why that they are sitting here, but this is a good time to check the phone. Got a text from my landlord. We paid our bill today. PogChamp. Seems like the writing is on the wall for them and they just don't want to play this out. Which is sad because Magic the Gathering is a fun game. It is tilting at times. I can feel the palpableness of this man's tilt because this happens quite often to me where I just get steamrolled. I mean, if you saw all the recordings from today, you would know I just got rolled many times. And I also lost because of my own hubris, but this isn't the right way to play this game. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm above it. I get it. Totally understand. Yes, the classic rope into we're now ready to play Magic the Gathering. All right, we'll threaten lethal here. I don't think he has any outs. Yep, there's 0 outs for this man. We will finish him off swiftly with the Kroxa. There we go. Woo! All right, thanks for watching this Magic Arena demo of Rakdos No Hand, otherwise known as Hand Attack, otherwise known as people just concede. They just concede when they see you throw down a Thoughtseize and remove that one combo piece from their hand that they needed to win the video game. If you thought this video was enjoyable, go ahead and leave a like on it and maybe consider subscribing. You like Magic the Gathering? I like playing Magic the Gathering. Why not stick around? All right. Till next time, catch you later.